All right, so here's the sample that we've been working on. Here's the garter stitch where you're knitting every row. That means you're using the knitting stitch where the needle is inserted from front to back. And then above it is the stockinette stitch where you're knitting one row and purling the next row. You're alternating knitting and purling in the rows, and that brings all the loops to the back. So the front looks like this, and the back looks like this. And here's a bigger sample of it. So the front, and then all the loops go in the back, so the back looks like this. So we can also use the purling stitch to do a rib stitch. And that's what this sample is right here. And in order to do that, you're going to knit one stitch and then purl the next stitch. So what we did with the stockinette stitch was knit one row, purl one row. This way we're going to knit one stitch. So I'm inserting the needle front to back, bringing it around, bringing it through, and then I have to bring the yarn to the front, because now I'm going to insert the needle from back to front and then bring the loop through so that the loop goes in the front of the work. So again, I have to move the yarn to the back. So I'm going to knit. Knit this stitch, bring the yarn to the front, and then purl the next stitch. I'm going to bring the yarn around again, knit the next stitch, bring the yarn to the front, and purl the next stitch. Knit, and I'm going to bring the yarn through and purl. And knit, purl, and knit. So now when I turn the work, I'm going to have to do the opposite of what I did. So in order to keep all of the loops on the same side for a particular row, I'm going to have to purl the first one. Remember on the last row I knit the first one. This time I'm going to have to purl the first one. So I'm going to put the needle in back to front, purl, then I have to move the yarn and knit, purl, and knit, purl, and knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Okay, and the next row I'm going to use my left hand tensioning. I'm going to show you that again. I'll get a little bit more yarn to work with. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the yarn around my pinky and then back behind my index finger like this. And then I can spread my fingers to give myself more yarn. And I can get some good tension that way. So around the pinky and then over my index finger. So now when I knit, you'll be able to see it speeds things up quite a lot. So I can, this has to be knit. And you can see it's real easy. The going back and forth is much easier too. Purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Oop. Don't lose those stitches. A lot of people like wooden needles for that reason, because the yarn doesn't slip quite so easily. Okay. All right, so I've done enough so that you can start to see how the pattern starts to form, and you can see that the yarns are starting to do what this sample shows, where you've got every other stitch, the purls are coming to the front or coming to the back. And this is often used as, you've seen this a million times on cuffs and the bottoms of sweaters, etc. It's useful because it's actually a lot more flexible and stretchy than the normal stockinette type stitching. So you can do the same thing. Now this is called the seed stitch. And this is done, again, it's knit one stitch, purl one stitch, but instead of keeping it in the same direction for each stitch, like here, everything in this row, the purls are going to the back, and everything in this row, the purls are coming to the front. With the seed stitch, you do just the opposite. So you've got one row where the purls are coming to the front, and then in the next row, the purl goes to the back, then goes to the front and the back, and you're alternating stitches as well, and you get this texture. And that's called the seed stitch. Here's a little variation on the seed stitch. Just close this up. It's a little variation. This is where you do knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and then you do a row of just knitting. It just spaces out these little purls that you see. And then you go to the opposite stitch so that you've got kind of a diamond pattern. And again, you do knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, etc. And then the next row, you just do all knitting. And so that's what gives you this texture. If you look on the back, it's a little harder to see what the pattern is back here. With the seed stitch, what you'll notice with the first one, where it's knit one, purl one, and you alternate, the two sides actually look identical. It's the same texture on both sides. So this is just a little variation. It's used as a texture. You can see how the knitting kind of goes in and out as well. So, okay, thank you.